It is 5 o'clock. Call this regular meeting of the City Council to order. Ms. Vizzoni, please call roll.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Today's invocation is led by Pastor Jonathan Elder from Church at the Beach. Jonathan, Pastor Elder, if you come up and please stand.
Thank you. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the blessings you've given us of life and freedom here. Thank you for this beautiful city and the leadership that you've provided. God, we ask for continued protection, wise decision-making, or then all our decisions to glorify you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join Councilmember Coburn for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, now on to the community announcements. This Friday, October 10th to Sunday, October 12th at Aaron Bessett Park is the Pirates and Renaissance Festival. Thursday, October 16th, there's the high school dive and swim meet. That's at the Aquatic Center at Frank Brown Park. And then we have a trio of events on Saturday, October 18th, so go to one or maybe all of them. There is the Faith Festival at Aaron Bessett Park. It is Free Day at the Pier for Bay County residents at the Russell Fields Pier. It is also Paws in the Park at Frank Brown Park. So, maybe take your dog out, head up the pier, and join them at the Faith Festival. On Monday, October 20th, there is the 1A District Swim Meet at the Aquatic Center at Frank Brown Park. On Wednesday, October 22nd, there's the 2A District Swim Meet, also at the Aquatic Center at Frank Brown Park. On Wednesday, October 22nd, starting Wednesday, October 22nd through Sunday, October 26th, is the Thunder Beach Fall Rally at Frank Brown Park. Then Thursday, October 23rd at 9 a.m., there is the next City Council meeting here at City Hall. That Saturday, October 25th, there is the Floating Pumpkin Patch at the Aquatic Center. And Wednesday, October 29th, there is the 2A Regionals Swim Meet at the Aquatic Center. Man, it feels like it is event season. Okay, moving on to the approval of agenda and additions or deletions.
Motion to approve. Second. Oops.
Okay, Ms. Vizzoni?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, we now move on to presentations. Councilmember Cook.
We have two very special young people here at council tonight to recognize, and I'd like to ask John Manley to come up and join me. How are you? Certificate of Special Recognition for John Manley on being selected the Boys and Girls Club September 2025 honoree. John has given exceptional service to the Boys and Girls Club, whereas Panama City Beach City Council and the residents of Panama City Beach thank you, John, for your dedication, your unselfish service to your club and community, and we congratulate you on a job well done. He's almost as big as you are. The next individual that we're recognizing tonight is Brooke Williams. Brooke, will you come up? How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
It's very nice to meet you. I met you earlier. Nice to meet you too. Certificate of Special Recognition for Brooke Williams on being selected the Girls and Boys Club October 2025 honoree. Brooke has given exceptional service to the Boys and Girls Club, and the City of Panama City Council and the residents of Panama City Beach thank you, Brooke, for your dedication, your unselfish service to your club and community. And we congratulate you on a job well done. Thank you. Did you want to get a photo? Okay. Grandpa needs a picture of his very own. And next, we have our fire chief here. Because this is Fire Prevention Month. So whereas each October, the nation observes Fire Prevention Month, reaffirming its collective commitment to fire safety, prevention, and preparedness through community-wide education and awareness efforts. Whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention Month theme, as designated by the National Fire Protection Association, is Charge into Fire Safety. I thought that's what you guys did anyway.
We do,
Run
yeah.
into fires, right? Lithium-ion batteries in your home, emphasizing the importance of fire-safe practices in our increasingly technologically driven world. Whereas this year's campaign seeks to inform and educate the public about critical steps to reduce fire risk associated with lithium-ion batteries, including purchasing the devices and batteries from reputable, nationally recognized sources that meet established safety standards, following best practices when charging these devices, and disposing of the batteries responsibly through proper recycling programs. And I think this is something that every home needs to be trained on.
Yes.
Whereas the City Council of Panama City Beach encourages all residents, visitors, and businesses to actively participate in Fire Prevention Month by learning about fire safety and assessing the potential risks for their homes. The City Council of Panama City Beach proudly honors and expresses its deepest appreciation for the courage, dedication, and sacrifice of our city's firefighters, who consistently respond with strength and professionalism, running toward danger to protect lives, property, and the community. We now, therefore, designate October as Fire Prevention Month. Thank you to you and your team, Chief, for all that you do to keep our community safe.
Thank you.
Give the council member a second to get back up here. We're moving on to the public comment on the consent agenda and/or non-agenda business. This is for the consent agenda or non-agenda business. If you have a comment on the regular agenda, come up during that time. Please come up, state your name, address myself or the council as a whole. If you have something to distribute, please put it in the basket underneath. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hello again, Mayor Teddemer. My name is Stanley Stefancic. Good evening, council members. Little visual aid. I don't think it's going to be necessary. It's a gold castle key. Little symbolism. First thing I want to say tonight, I want to take this valuable time, a little bit of it, to thank the hardworking members of this city. Most of them aren't in the room. Utilities workers, police officers conducting themselves appropriately in the line of duty and professionally. They need to be thanked. I want to take the opportunity to thank them. The next topic's not going to be so pleasant. Why is Councilmember Casto sitting in that seat right now? A few people look surprised. A few of you council members look surprised. A couple of you didn't. Got some documents I'd like to put in front of you. That should not be a surprise, right? Right, Mr. Whitman? Someone?
They stay in the basket.
Okay. I'd like for them to see them while I'm
Give them
speaking.
to them after the meeting, they stay in the basket.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you want to send us stuff before the meeting, always email.
I'd like for them to be part of the record.
They will be.
Inside this paperwork is a criminal citation for Paul Casto on Wednesday, 8/20/2025 at 3:15 p.m. Councilmember Casto chose to take what was a minor civil traffic infraction, and then for some reason, Mr. Mayor, he chose to leave the scene. The comments in the official documentation, these documents I pulled from the Bay County Clerk of Court website today. They're available for everybody to see. But I hope you all take a look at them, and I encourage discussion. So he left the scene. I wonder why Mr. Casto left the scene and probably went to his house. What was in his car? I wonder if he has a substance abuse problem. There's a problem. It needs to be addressed. I hope you 4 council members discuss it this evening. If Mr. Whitman has not made you aware, his name is mentioned in here. He's an active participant. You all, if you are not aware already, and you are not surprised, what are you going to do? Mr. Mayor, are you going to tolerate this from one of our sitting council, somebody who's already conducted business today? It's not a secret. This gold key is pretty good at unlocking secrets. It's a symbol of that.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Stefanik.
Paperwork's down there. What are you going to do?
Thank you, sir. Okay, further public comment?
John Latham. Okay, PCB City Council conduct. I'm here today to speak on abhorrent patterns of behavior that have been engaged in by PCB elected officials and their supporters. I will limit this to 4 incidents between 2016 and present due to time. Number 1, Councilman Salas challenged a citizen to a physical fight, video published. 2, Councilman McConnell, enough said. 3, contractors for Mayor Sheldon's music festival trolling. I have screen captures of that also published. The current alleged hit and run and road rage incident involving Councilman Casto, court records published. In this town, we hear a lot about religious piety, conservative values, and heroic military service from our so-called leaders and their supporters. Yet we are awash with hypocritical and entitled behavior to the contrary. The bottom line is that if you can't follow laws, you shouldn't have the ability to pass them. Thank you. And I'd like to put in a public records request for the conversation between Mr. Whitman and Mr. Casto that happened in the city. It had to do with a incident where city police were initially dispatched to it, even though it was taken over by the FHP later. Thank you. That's all I have at this time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Latham. Again, this is,
Good evening.
this is for, we're going to talk about the agenda.
Yes, is that on the agenda item?
Agenda, yeah.
Hey guys, my name is Peyton Taylor. I'm a homeowner across the street at Heather Drive. These are my young sons, Harden and Banks. I don't even know if this is the appropriate arena to do this, but I was trying to see on what I would need to do to possibly get, I live on Heather Drive, to get some speed bumps installed. My kids are playing around the yard a lot, and sometimes in the front yard it gets a little scary. I've noticed other streets on the road in our neighborhood have speed bumps. I feel like Heather Drive is the longest road. I mean, it's almost a quarter of a mile of a straight lane. I've talked to a lot of neighbors that have similar age group kids, and I feel like it's a little burdensome not to have it. People are usually speeding relatively fast. And I was just wanting to know what I could take or any steps that could possibly be done to look at that. I just feel like it's a bit of a safety hazard, and before something bad happens, you know, I don't want anything bad to happen to them, but at the same time, I don't almost refrain from playing in the front yard out of fear that they're going to run out in the street and just seeing it out my window of people speeding really fast. I was just wondering to see what it could possibly take to do that. I don't even know if this is the correct environment for that, but I figured I'd just come up and ask or see what I could do to, I mean, if it takes like a petition or something, I could walk around the neighborhood and poll people. I would be more than willing to do it, but I don't know what to do from there, but just wanted to ask.
So, yeah, Mr.
I was going to say, if you stay for the whole meeting, get with me afterwards. If not, what's your address?
158 Heather.
Vice Mayor, if
158.
you could just address them all when we do,
I got
after
a
public
big
comment.
Auburn flag outside.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
Mr.
feel like I
Taylor-
need to take it down.
Mr. Taylor, we'll address all the public comment at once, right after the public comment.
Okay, just because I don't want to have them hemmed up in here, is it something that y'all could address so I can go home and watch it on Facebook or something?
It'll be in about, well, it depends on how many public comments, it'll be in about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Molly Allen, and I'll be quick for this gentleman. I just want to thank the city city employees that volunteered, that came out for the cleanup. I'd like to also thank Oceans Connections for coming out to the cleanup. We were few in number, but we were strong in spirit, and we actually removed quite a bit of trash from around Seahorse Lake. My concern is this, and Mayor, thank you. Really sincerely, I know that you went down the road to Lake Powell and also did a second cleanup down there, and for that, we're very thankful for you jumping in and helping locals. Also, I just want to point out and ask the question, there is a railing where the parking lot goes next to Seahorse Lake, and when we were down in there cleaning out, I was walking on pine straw, but underneath my feet, I heard plastic and tin cans crunching, and what I feel is happening is the landscaper there is just throwing pine straw on top of trash. So it was an ant bed, we got bit by ants, which wasn't really a problem, but my fear is that there's just covering up trash instead of actually removing it. So I think that's really just it. I just really want to say thank you for the city helping out and coming out.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Molly. Thank you, Ms. Allen. Further comment on the consent or non-agenda business? Mr. Whitman?
I'm gonna start with Peyton first, since he's got his 2 kids.
Yep.
There's a process for that. If he can go to the city's website, or if he can contact him tomorrow, I'll walk him through that. But he can download a petition, he can walk through his neighborhood on Heather Drive, get a majority of them to sign off on it, turn it back into myself or Public Works with John Adair, and we can address it. If we get enough signatures, we can try to put speed humps in there in the future.
Okay. Yeah, so there's a petition. We have a standard process for this. You can use.
The signatures on Heather Drive or the entire neighborhood?
Well, you,
Heather Drive.
yeah.
Just on Heather?
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Then I'll go to the first 2 that were referring to Councilman Costo. The city followed all of its procedures. We turned it over to FHP. It's a criminal case. It's ongoing. He'll have his day in court, and that's all I have to say on that until the case is done. You're presumed innocent. And then Molly, I'll reach out to the new general manager when they hire someone at Pier Park to make sure they start picking up the trash and start covering it up. And I'll try to reach out to their maintenance supervisor before that.
Okay. All right. And we've noted the public records request as well.
There's no public records request that's going to match that because it was a phone call.
Okay. All right. Any response from council?
No, you covered it.
No. I agree. There will be a day in court. All right. Moving on to the consent agenda. Ms. Fazzoni?
Resolution 2601, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving the purchase of maintenance and repair services from Jim House and Associates LLC relating to the refurbishment of an altitude valve at the McKelvey Water Storage and Pumping Station in the total amount of $38,215. Resolution 2602, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, approving an agreement with Hall Contracting and Construction, Inc., for the renovation of the Lindell Conference Center restrooms and lobby in the total amount of $227,917, and authorizing the execution of qualifying change orders in the total amount not to exceed $23,000. Resolution 2603, a resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, related to the annual Visit Panama City Beach Ironman Florida event, consenting to the temporary closure of portions of Thomas Drive, South Thomas Drive, West Pier Park Drive, South Pier Park Drive, Longboard Way, Sea Monkey Way, Front Beach Road, and Panama City Beach Parkway for the event, as more particularly set forth in the body of the resolution.
Okay,
Motion to approve?
Second.
okay. Motion and a second to approve. Ms. Rosado?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, we now move on to the regular agenda item number 1, ordinance number 1665. Mr. Davis.
An ordinance of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, amending the city's code of ordinances relating to impact fees, providing for imposition of modified impact fees on land development in the City of Panama City Beach for the provision of municipal police, fire, recreation, and library services necessitated by new development, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, scrivener's errors, liberal interpretation, modifications, codification, and providing an effective date.
Okay, and so I'm calling for any public comment on this item. Please come up, state your name. Please keep the commentary related to the agenda item.
Sure,
You'll have
can
3
do.
minutes.
Kurt Hartog, I represent the Bay Building Industries Association. Thank you for having your workshop earlier, I do appreciate that. I guess I have a couple questions. First off, will this be accepted as it was read at the workshop? Because it looks like including the increases and the decreases, we don't have a lot to fight about, to disagree with. The only thing I don't really agree with, or we don't agree with, is the impact or the increase of the parks and recreation under the residential part of it. The developments being done in the city is to bring new people in, and you also get a lot of hotels and such like that built because of the parks that are being built. So our feeling is that really any impact to the Parks and Rec should be more towards the commercial part of it, the hotel per room charge should maybe be up more for that and decrease the charge for the residential part of it. But as far as the decreases in the commercial, we think that's great, but I just want to be sure that that's what the city is going to adopt when they do this. It's adopt the study as presented, and we'd be fine with that. So one last thing I do have, the city attorney and I have a little difference of opinion on the interpretation of statute 252 or 256 about the workshop, so I'll be looking into that a little bit more, and he said he will email me his interpretation. I appreciate that, so thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rosa. Further public comment on regular agenda item number 1, ordinance 1665. Any further public comments? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Casio? First, since we have public comment, Mr. Davis, we passed first reading last time with what was presented in the agenda, or in the presentation from the first workshop. If we were to, we're on second reading for this.
Correct.
If we were to pass it, it would be the same because it's second reading. Is that accurate?
Yeah, if you pass the ordinances as written, it will pass as it's written, as it's presented in the agenda, and it will take effect 90 days after adoption.
Okay, so that's your answer there. Okay, yeah, Mr. Casio, please. And just a little bit of motivation. Can you, the workshop as Mr. Hartzog said, was absolutely wonderful. We all really appreciated it, so much so we did it twice. But could you describe, before we go forward, I know this is a continuation, but not everyone may not have watched that workshop. Could you just describe what impact fees are and who they apply to?
Sure. Real quick, Sean Ocasio, Rafthouse Financial Consultants. So what impact fees are these are fees that are charged to new growth and new development. They're not paid by your existing residents. It's not some form of tax or increase or anything like that. It's on new development in the community, and it relates to essentially the impact that new development has on the community. That's kind of why we call them an impact fee. So as the community grows and as new development comes in, those additional persons that are being brought in place additional demand on your different municipal services, whether it's police service, fire rescue service, parks and recreation facilities, and so on. And so you're then having to invest further in order to maintain the standard level of service that you all have for the community for those various services. You know, number of officers per 1,000 residents, maintaining that threshold. You know, your service times and your staffing levels for the fire department. Your acreage requirements for parks and recreation, and so on. And so as new growth comes in, it's placing additional demand on those facilities. You then, as a city, have to invest further in order to maintain the standard. And so it's those growth-related costs that the city is incurring that are what the impact fee is designed to recover.
And the capital costs.
Yes, sir. Yes, specifically the capital costs.
Yeah. So capital costs to maintain the existing level of service based on the impact of new growth, paid for by new growth, not
Existing residents.
Not any existing residents, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. If you guys want to know much more about impact fees, I recommend you watch the previous workshop. Okay.
So just picking up a bit where we left off, during the last council meeting, there was a request made to review one other scenario, and that's the few slides we have here that we're going to show in just a moment. Essentially what it related to had to do with how some of the costs are being allocated within the design of specifically the police and the fire impact fees. So short version, you know, we take all of your current investment in assets, we take all of your planned future investment in future facilities for the various departments. We then net out from that any grant funding, any renewal and replacement type projects, and any costs that the statute require that we leave out. So we get this net amount of cost, and then from there, we have to then break it between classes because we're designing fees for residential and we're designing fees for non-residential properties. And so it's that allocation that we had some discussion on in the prior council meeting, and it related to how we were weighing that split. What we had talked about previously was the weighting of the factors that were used in that analysis. And specifically, the three main factors that we were using to weigh the costs between residential and non-residential land uses were call data for the police and fire departments, a few years sampling of call data. That generally speaks to, you know, the actual demand for the services that are being provided. And then there's also a component associated with developed square footage, the idea being you may have certain properties that still require police service or fire rescue service. Even if they didn't have a call, there's still a service availability component. So we're trying to weigh in the fact that there's potential demand even when maybe actual demand didn't occur at that point in time for the call survey period. And then we're also using a factor, we're calling it functional population. It's essentially an estimate of where people spend their time, and it has to do with some commuter census type data for the community, folks who live in the city and work in the city, folks who live in the city, work out of the city, and folks who work in the city but come from outside. And it's essentially apportioning time spent. So there was a threefold factor that was used to bifurcate the costs for the police department impact fees, for the fire impact fees, and for just those two specifically. And they were given equal weighting. So 1/3 for call demand, 1/3 for developed square footage, and 1/3 for functional or time, if we want to call it that. The alternative that was requested by council at that meeting was then, in an attempt to recognize some of the unique demand characteristics of your community with respect to, you know, your seasonal population and your visiting population, could there be an approach where you look at weighing maybe the call component of that threefold weighting factor at a higher percentage instead of 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, potentially looking at an option of 50% for call or demand and then 25% for square footage and 25% for functional population? So what we were able to do was we got with, back with your police and fire departments. They were able to provide data that actually spoke to the seasonality of calls, and we were able to look at that type of rebalancing, if you will. So when we did that, we looked at the call data there, and what it showed, you can see on some of the bottom bullet points there, that during a peak visiting season, the call volumes increased by at least 50% when compared to off-season times. And that's all visiting population. That's not your permanent residents that are generating those additional calls. That's all, other people, the visitors. And so there's the data to show that there is that peak compared to your average, and it's a very high one. So because you have the data available to show that kind of differentiation between, and you can see it by the months and everything, do you have some of the data needed to substantiate an alternative weighting approach with that, 1/2, 1/4, 1/4 instead of 1/3, 1/3, 1/3? And so that unique peaking factor that we could see in that data could justify an alternative weighting.
Okay. Yeah, so just to briefly summarize, so I understand, demand is 1/3 of the existing formula to split between non-residential and residential for fire and police. We evaluated making that 50% because there was some concern at the council that maybe the model doesn't work for our high seasonal. Like what's the sensitivity of the model? So let's see how much change there is if we take that seasonality into account. And so you had data to validate that that was a reasonable thing to at least explore, and so you're presenting that data now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So with that, what you'll see here is if we were to reweight the fee analysis to use those percentages, what we have here for police and for fire rescue is your current impact fee on a per residential dwelling unit basis, so $144 and $249, for fire rescue. The base case, what I'll call it, the initially evaluated scenario, is the $194 per residential unit for police and the $292 for fire rescue. Then looking at that alternative weighting, what you'll see here is that residential fee for police, instead of $194, it would go down a little bit compared to what it was to $172. So that's still about a $28 increase, or about 19% increase in the fee under that approach. When we look at it for fire, the proposed fee, instead of being $292, would be the $254. That would be, when you look at your existing fee, it's only about a $5 change in the fee, or about 2%. So essentially what it's doing is it's rebalancing the costs that are included on the residential side and pulling them over to the non-residential side. So you'll see these are still increases here, but they are dampened because of that reweighting. Alternatively, as a busy schedule, I apologize, but there wasn't a friendly way to put it up. On the police side, you have, again, the land uses, industrial warehousing, institutional, hotel, motel, office buildings, and retail. Those fees are applied on either a per 1,000 square foot or per room basis, and you have your existing fees shown in column there. On the police side, $880 per 1,000 square feet. The analysis under the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 approach would be for those same categories: $26 per 1,000 square feet, $47, $203 per room, $220 per 1,000 square feet, and $628 per 1,000 square feet. Under the alternative, because we've weighed more cost to the non-residential side, looking at this analysis, you see they go up slightly. Again, you see it's kind of a balloon squeeze, if you will. You squeeze one side, the other side goes up. And so you'll see $30, $55, $238, $258, and $736 there. In terms of the decrease compared, again, it's a few dollars, about 97% ranging to 16% decrease. So it did soften the decreases there a bit using that approach for police, and then similar for fire. Again, the fees are applied in the same manner per 1,000 square foot or per room. You have your existing fees per unit, it's about $1,140 for 1,000 square feet. You have the base approach there, the alternative approach, which is slightly higher per unit of measure. And retail's the only one that then gets essentially a break even under that weighting approach, but essentially it still decreases across the board there. So this would be how the fees would look if that weighting methodology was used. Just to give it a little bit of scale, if you're just looking at the residential fees, the overall change across everything when you look at all the other fee increases, but it's only about a $60 differential.
Yeah, it's a $60 difference, and so, yeah, like I said, when we discussed this last time, my concern was, is this model, we discussed last time, appropriate given the seasonal nature? And since we're only seeing about a $60 swing by reweighting, that tells me this the original model was appropriate. We're not seeing a substantial swing either way by going to an alternative model.
But it was a very fair question to ask, though, to see, looked at that sensitivity.
Can you go back to that slide you were just on?
Sure.
And the 97% increase, is that $880 per 1,000 square feet on warehousing right now?
Yes.
Yeah, the decrease.
Okay.
Now, one thing I'll mention when it comes to those types of properties, while the fee per unit may be lower, a lot of times those types of properties are larger, so you still are collecting, a good amount of impact fees from it. It's just on a per comparable unit of measure basis, it is lower.
Only thing I like about the alternative is it does shift a little bit more balance towards the commercial side and doesn't have the substantial increase on the residential side, but we're still able to offer a decrease. Not a ton,
But something.
but something.
What's the
I mean-
negative to taking the alternative calculation?
So the negative would then be, kind of leading into the next slide here.
Oh, okay.
Ahead of the curve.
Segue.
Yeah. So there are some considerations here. Again, the alternative weighting factor you do have the seasonality of demand that could justify it, and you have the data to support looking at it as a potential approach. The catch here, though, is due to that rebalancing of the costs and based on the growth forecast that we have, there would be an overall revenue loss to the city in terms of impact fees collected by about approximately $137,000 between 2026 and 2030. So that increase would be split about 50,000, or excuse me, that revenue loss would be about 50,000 police department, about 87,000 fire rescue side. So the catch here is you're losing impact fee revenues for those growth-related projects in order to implement this particular method.
So with the alternative, it's not an apples for apples when it comes to revenue generating on the impact fee, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, because this slide totally changes my perspective on that. I'm not going to take money out of police and fire's budget, so.
Yeah,
Well, it's not really out of their budget.
Well, capital expenditures.
Yeah.
well, it's out of other budgets, really.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's growth paying for growth. What we're looking at is a difference for a new house, a new dwelling unit, house or apartment of $60. So,
And really, the big change was in Parks and Rec.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
That's where the big change is.
Yep.
And nothing we can reevaluate to alter that perspective, is there? There's no calls to Park and Rec
Oh.
that we can tabulate, I would imagine.
Right, there's no rebalancing there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
So, all right. Any further questions for Mr. Ocasio from the council?
No, great job. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you, and thank you for, evaluating this alternative, because we always want to make sure that we're allocating funds in an appropriate manner, especially fees in an appropriate manner. So, thank you, sir.
Thank
Okay, well, so any discussion we had first reading at the, not, at the original fee structure, not this alternative fee structure. We're at second reading for it.
I mean, I think everyone, it was an eye-opener for everybody up here when this report came in. It's definitely not something I was like, oh, I expected that. No, not at all. But it is what it is. This city has, over the past, well, probably 10 years, has taken care of a lot of capital improvements that needed to be taken care of. So we're at the point where, we're not foreseeing new fire stations anytime soon and things of that nature that's going to affect how these impact fees are tabulated. For me, I just want to reiterate, this is not on existing residents or existing houses. This is on new builds. And the idea of an impact fee is to shift the cost from current residing, living residents and businesses to new ones that are coming into the area.
Yeah.
It is, it's kind of is what it is.
I think it's more cost-effective for commercial development that's gonna drive our BTR, and so it's a win-win, so I'm ready to make a motion to approve it.
All right.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the existing as read, we're at the second reading, so motion and second. Any discussion? No? Ms. Mazzone?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Drummond?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, yep, growth paying for growth. We now move on to regular agenda item 2, the large conditional use request located at 8795 Thomas Drive. This is a public hearing, a quasi-judicial hearing.
Nothing for me to do.
What's that?
So nothing for me to do.
Nothing for you to do, okay, so.
All you.
It's all me. I'll just take a deep breath and.
That's it.
Yeah. So this is a hearing to consider, as I just mentioned, approval of a large conditional use application for Tootsie South LLC, Section 5.06.01 of the city's Land Development Code. This is a quasi-judicial hearing governed by the city's Land Development Code. This hearing is based on the recommendation of the Planning Board's approval. Members of the council have been provided a copy of that order for our review. We will now begin the hearing. Okay. Will all persons wishing to speak during this hearing please rise to be sworn in? That is, especially if you're going to do public comment, please rise to be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay. Mr. Leonard. Where are you going over there? Were the notice requirements met for this hearing?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. At this time, we will ask for each member of the council to make their Jennings disclosure. Councilman Picasso?
I have nothing to disclose, Mayor.
Nothing to disclose.
Okay. Councilmember Coburn?
Nothing to disclose.
Nothing to disclose.
I also have nothing to disclose. At this time, we will hear the staff's report. Mr. Leonard.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The applicant is Tootsie South LLC, and they submitted a large conditional use, which is more than 3 acres, to locate a club, lounge, or bar at the site of the old Spinnaker, which is located at 8795 Thomas Drive. The property consists of 3.67 acres, is Zone CH, which is commercial high intensity, and is located in the FBO 4 overlay district. The proposed use is classified as a club, lounge, or bar under the city's Land Development Code, and as such has to meet the criteria of the Land Development Code for evaluation of large conditional uses. There is 12 criteria that the request is evaluated by. The City Council has the discretion to impose conditions that determines are necessary to satisfy the required findings. The applicant held a community meeting on August the 5th, 2025, prior to the Planning Board meeting, which was required. And the Planning Board recommended approval of the request 5-1 at its meeting on September the 10th, 2025. But they did have 2 conditions that were associated with the approval. The first is that it would satisfy Section 50601A of the Land Development Code, and that reads that the use must be designed, located, and operated in a manner protecting public health, safety, and welfare. And the specific condition that the Planning Board recommended to consider is that they recommend that the police chief indicate to the City Council the number of security professionals required during specified times of the year. The second condition that the Planning Board recommended was to satisfy Section 50601I, which reads, there is adequate shielding to protect adjacent property owners from noise, lights, and other obnoxious elements and activities, taking into consideration other surrounding uses. And the specific condition associated with that is that the Planning Board recommended that outdoor amplified music be prohibited from 10 p.m. to close of business year-round. And I would like to enter into the record the agenda packet for this item.
Okay. Do we need a motion for that? No? Okay. Entered into the record. Great.
That's it.
Okay. That's it for the staff report. Thank you, Mr. Leonard. Thank you. And per the planning board's order, Chief Talamentes, would you provide us a report on the public safety considerations for this proposed use? Always like listening to the chief, and we're required to, so.
Well, Mayor, Council, thank you. As far as public safety concerns for Tootsie's, it's no more than any other business that would be putting up. The current HIP ordinances that you guys enacted will cover anything that might arise for the situation. So other than that, I have no other comment.
Okay. Any questions for Chief? Okay.
All good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay. At this time, we will hear from the applicant.
Good evening, Robert Carroll, McNeil Carroll Engineering, 17800 Panama City Beach Parkway. We are the engineer of record. We've been authorized to represent the applicant. Between Mel's staff report and Chief Talamentes, they kind of took all the glory and thunder in their presentation away, so I just brought some pretty pictures. But just back up, we did, because we're over the 3-acre threshold is why we're here, trying to operate the club. They've already gotten their building permit, so the site itself is adequate. We advertised, per the mailing process, about 200 parcels that popped up that we had to advertise. Therefore, we thought we would have a large amount of people come to the community meeting. We rented a room at Edgewater. We had one attendee, and the one attendee, the only question he had was when we were going to open. So we can officially say we had 100% support from the attendees that came to the meeting.
Was that attendee required to be there, Mr. Carroll?
Sir?
Was that attendee required to be there by your staff, Mr. Carroll?
No, sir. We had, it was all of us team members and just one audience member. Okay. So we did have a lot of people in there. We went in front of the Planning Commission, did our presentation. Again, no opposition that we heard there. We have not received from all the mail-outs that we have sent, we have not heard one opposition against this project. There may be some. I'm not saying there aren't any. We just have not received any feedback. I've got a couple of slides to show you. So we'll start with this picture. So this basically shows you the existing club that's here. This is where we're proposing the building. This is the existing parking facility. That's the old La Villa. This is the condominium, as you can see. It's just a wide sea of asphalt. What we're proposing to do is, because we need to do this, and your code calls for it, we're going to cut out some of those spaces, which reduces the parking. However, we're adding some landscaping, some aesthetics. There's existing turn lanes that are already out in Thomas Drive, right and left. We looked at the average annual daily traffic out there. It's actually much lower than it was in the past. It's probably because Spinnaker and La Villa are no longer in operation. But that volume obviously will come up some. But several years ago, it was much, much higher, about 4,000 cars, I think, per day average. But the building itself, I think you've all seen the renderings before. That's essentially what the building looks like. Square footage wise, operationally, what's inside this building compared to what was Spinnaker is actually a little less, which I had to compare the numbers to make sure, because this building is just much taller, but Spinnaker is spread out in such a wide area. The wall, we are close to a condominium that's on the east side. That whole wall is basically soundproof, like you would have in a movie theater, because that would be the only one that's close proximity would be the noise, is the condo next door. But the operator, he is here just to kind of go over a little bit of operations with you. We did reach out to Chief Talamentes just to kind of get his feedback. We told the planning board we would do that. We've reached out to Sheriff Ford, spoken to them. With the ordinances that y'all have already enacted, that kind of takes away all the thunder. So if there was an issue, if there is a noise issue, we have to comply with the noise ordinance no matter what. So they are extremely excited to open and operate. This has been known as an area for entertainment, so we'd love to have this area that gets some of that traffic back up a little bit. But we're excited. I don't know if you have any questions for me, or if you'd like us to continue the presentation with the operator. Or
yeah, I had a few questions. Where are you planning on doing events all inside or on the sand? What are the plan for, what's the plan for events?
Inside the building, yes, sir. It's a three-story structure. It is modeled after an existing facility that's in Nashville, Kid Rock's place. Essentially, you have main floor, main stage. You have a second floor that's got a huge open mezzanine. You kind of stand around, you can see the band. Then there's a third floor, which has a separate live act, has the kitchen where they do the food operations. But the intent is to be inside the structure, yes, sir.
Okay, so no intent to do events on the beach or?
They would have to get a special events to operate that.
Okay. All right.
And they were in Pier Park for years. Simon, they were a good tenant. There were no issues there. That's a family atmosphere, people walking right by, live music. And again, if Cole, he'd like to come up, he can address some of these. The operation is the main thing. After a certain time, you got to be 21 to get in the building.
Yeah.
Afternoon, Cole Cunningham with Tootsie's.
Nice to meet you, Cole.
Well, you have any questions for me? Any operational questions? I'd be glad to answer them best I can.
Yeah, so just what I asked Mr. Carroll, any plans to do the events on the beach inside? What's your plan for operating this
So
facility?
at this time, there's no plans to do anything on the beach. Obviously, we would need a special permit to do so. But as far as entertainment goes, it's all inside at our 2 stages.
Okay.
What about the outdoor space where the pool is?
In relation to what? Like using it as a, well,
Using
right
it
now,
as
our only locations for stages are inside.
Okay.
Okay, and then especially, so Mr. Davis, if I understand, they'd be allowed to be open till 4?
Yes, sir.
And so what are the plans for kind of anything going outside around, once it gets to those later hours? I know you'll be subject to the noise ordinance, but the mix of indoor, outdoor plans, especially as they get to those late hours.
Well, it's important to remember that obviously we have live music, right? Our stages are located inside, so I would imagine most of our customers are going to want to stay inside. Now, obviously, if someone want to get a cocktail and walk to the beach, of course they are. That's why they come here. They want to see the water. But I would say the majority of our customers are going to stay inside of our facility. I don't see our pool or anything like that staying open super late, definitely not on a regular basis.
Okay. And in terms of security, what are your plans for security?
Well, we have a great security staff. We always have. In fact, if you ask the local police, we've always had a great working relationship with them. We incorporate them as well for special detail. As far as the exact number, I can't answer that, but we do intend to have adequate security.
Okay, adequate security, including any potential on the beach. There's going to be beach access, I assume?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Any questions, operational questions from the council?
I think one question that you're kind of leaning towards is, how secure is your beach access from the establishment to the beach?
Well, they're still under construction, obviously.
Well, I mean, what's your operational?
Yeah, the operational plan.
Like time, like what time is that?
Once you're open and operating, what's your idea of security at that beach access? I
Well,
think that's where
I would imagine we need someone there all the time when we're open.
Okay.
Just to kind of curtail some people going to the beach. You don't want to take any kind of unauthorized containers, stuff like that onto the sand.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's all the operational questions I had. Any further from the council?
No, sir.
Nothing.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Mr. Carl, I did have a question for you. So you did note that there's going to be an increase in traffic to the area. What's the plan for rideshare drop-offs or, potential public transit drop-offs so they don't back up on the road?
So there are multiple access points. And the beauty part about this is this property is extremely deep. As you know, this is rare to have a piece of property this deep on the Gulf. But the operation would be come in through here. We have a drop-off, designated drop-off zone all across the front here, have ADA access points. So it allows anybody to queue and circle in here so we're not backing and causing congestion out front.
You have queuing in
Oh,
the
yes,
plan?
every bit of this can work as queuing if they're waiting to be dropped off, picked up, every bit of that striped and extremely long depth property there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just particularly concerned about backups on that road. It's, we see it at other facilities. So you have an internal parking plan?
Yes, sir.
For that backup? Okay.
What about valet parking? Will you be offering valet parking?
I don't think so.
Okay. Further
What's
questions?
yeah, I've got one question. With the entrances and exits, are they going to be designated right out only or anything like that?
It depends on the flow of traffic. I mean,
Yeah,
right now,
I'm
you've
just-
got, in the middle, you've got a turn lane that opens in both directions. So if there becomes a traffic congestion or an issue, then I mean, we can direct traffic. But right now, you know, you're going towards the county if you go out to the east, and
Right.
I'm sure they want to interact with both directions.
Okay.
Because that is like the biggest parking lot on Thomas Drive practically, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. My only thought in terms of, we do that at discussion time, potential conditions.
Yeah, I think, I mean,
Yeah.
now's the time to get any evidence.
Get any
ask any
evidence
questions
in?
you need,
Okay,
Then
yeah.
you can deliberate thereafter.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Carroll. At this time, we will hear from any affected party who wishes to speak. Please come up, state your name and address for the record. Any affected party who wishes to speak? Seeing none. At this time, we will take public comment. Any public comment? Seeing none. This time, we will hear any rebuttal by staff, any affected party, or the applicant. Staff? No affected parties, applicant, no rebuttal. Okay. At this time, we will close the evidentiary portion of the hearing. Close. And any closing arguments by staff, applicant? All right. There we go.
Carroll got one person more than we did.
We should have invited them, Okay, we're moving to council discussion. Obviously, traffic's a big deal. I think the plan is, it's good that they have a plan. My only suggestion for a condition on it is just to ensure that they have a internal parking plan that can address ride shares, public transit.
Seems to me they addressed that with the queuing of cars and plenty of room to circle around in their own parking lot while they're waiting to pick people up, so.
And I'm a firm believer in the realm of business. Business is going to dictate what you do if there's a problem anyway.
Yeah.
So,
You got a great operator that's here.
yeah, my only concern would be the, entrance and exit onto Thomas Drive. They've got enough parking to park a fleet of people, but that would be my only concern. And if it does become a problem, it's going to be a problem for them, and I'm sure they will address it.
I'm happy to see you come to town. I know you're already here, but I think it's going to be a big asset to Panama City Beach. And with that, I'll make a motion to approve this.
Second.
Can I ask a question really quickly?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, the planning board's order recommended two things, which was to hear from Chief Talamantes and to prohibit amplified sound outdoors after 10 PM. Do you want to, obviously, the chief didn't have any additional recommendations, but the prohibition on amplified sound after 10 PM, do you want to keep that condition in your order? Because the planning board was just a recommendation, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
would like
need
to-
clarification on that.
Yeah, we'd like, I'd like to see.
Consistent with what we do.
And that's outside. That's outside.
It's
amplified.
outside.
Yeah, and
yes.
what I'll tell you is that it's consistent with the conditional use order that was placed on Longboards, which is right down the street.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure, I want to make sure when we craft the order that either we keep that condition or not.
Sure, I just don't want to be hodgepodge across the beach. This place is allowed to do it, we're
Right,
not
correct.
allowed to do it here.
Yep.
So as long as we're consistent, I'm fine with that.
Okay. So do you want to amend your motion to include the condition of no amplified noise outside after 10 PM?
Yeah, I'll amend my motion to that.
Okay,
And I'll
so,
amend my second.
Thank you.
to that.
okay, so we have an amended motion to approve to include the condition of no amplified sound outdoors after 9 PM. 10
PM.
10 PM?
10.
10 PM. We have an amended second. Okay. Ms. Fazzoni?
Yes,
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank y'all for bringing that part of the beach back to life. That's
Yeah.
great. Thank you. Excited to have you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, moving on to Resolution 2604. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach naming Panama City Beach City Hall building in honor of former Mayor George Michael Mike Thomas.
Okay. We will now take public comment on this agenda item.
John Latham again. Resolution 2604. I do not want anything in PCB named after former Mayor Mike Thomas. This proposed legislation is an affront to the senses. Let's examine some of Mike Thomas's values. Having an illegal sign at his diner and daring code enforcement to write him a ticket. I published that video. 2, he doesn't want to hire anyone that's fat, pregnant, or smokes. Published that video too. Number 3, he apologizes for the previous sentiment by saying that he has fat people that work for him. He has people that smoke that work for him. He has black people and all sorts of foreign things. That's a direct quote. 4, he enjoys him. 5, he was impaired in swearing at a citizen while at a bar or restaurant. There's also footage of that was sent to me. A commemoration celebrating this type of bigoted and self-aggrandizing conduct is beneath reprehensible. In closing, the incidents to which I allude were all captured on video, and I invite this body to do a search online and watch them prior to passing this resolution. Thank you.
Okay.
And quite frankly, I thought we were trying to change the Redneck Riviera image and like the bad behavior. And when we have leaders presenting the bad behavior, people in leadership positions presenting the bad behavior, that's just unacceptable. Well, it's ridiculous and unacceptable. Thank you again.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Latham. Further public comment on agenda item 3, resolution 2604. Any further public comment? Okay, seeing none. We don't have a presentation. Mr. Whitman, is there anything presentation for this one?
No, sir, this is something that was brought up from the dais.
From the dais?
Back to you.
Okay. Oh, well, Mr. Casto, since you brought this up, would you like to speak to it?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, like I said last time, I've known Mike and his family for probably over 50 years, and he, when he got elected, I think it was in 2016, this is one of the first projects he really took on, and I really believe we wouldn't be here if he hadn't pushed that so hard. I think we'd still be in the old building, and so he also was on the city council previously, pushed for Frank Brown Park, major improvements over there. He got a lot of things done on the beach. He was county commissioner for, I think, 12 years. But anyhow, I just don't think this building should have anybody's name on it but Mike's, because it wouldn't be here if he hadn't pushed it so hard. When I got elected, he already had it. I think the funding was already approved and the drawings, and it was underway, and it was all because of Mike's just being really an advocate for this whole complex. We used to have some really, nobody accused us of wasting money on these buildings, because the old buildings that we were in were really in bad shape, and I think all the staff can agree with that. So I think we should honor former Mike Thomas for pushing this building and getting this building built. And like I said before, I wish he'd built it bigger, because we've already had to buy another building down to 79 because we've outgrown it. We're blessed to have tremendous growth going on here. So if nobody else has any other comments, I'll make a motion to name this building after Mike Thomas.
Yeah, well, further comments, I have something I wanted to say about it.
Please, John.
So, Mayor Thomas obviously has done a lot for the beach. I mean, if you read this resolution, it outlines several achievements from this building, CRA, Frank Brown Park. And this council's goal is to act in the common good for each of its residents. when I was considering this and talking to folks about it, my question was, is the right time to act and the right way to recognize his accomplishments? As mentioned, given City Hall's importance as a symbol for all residents and that emotions are still high regarding Mayor Thomas, I'm going to be voting no. That's all I have to say about it.
That's fine. I mean, one thing that I looked at is name me a policy that Mike Thomas fought for and enacted that wasn't a good policy. He transformed this beach by fighting for the spring break change that everybody wanted. Well, not everybody, but that has made a great difference in this city. And I am looking at it from a policy perspective and not a personal, do I like somebody or do I not like somebody? And when you take out the emotions and understand of what the man has actually done, then it becomes a lot easier for me to understand and acknowledge the need for naming the building after him. Because I remember when City Hall was the gymnasium, and it was the gymnasium, and that building existed forever. And it was Mike that pushed to have this building built, along with pushing for Frank Brown and pushing, and you can almost not put your hand on any accomplishment or any growth in this city without Mike being a driving force on it. And I think that speaks volumes above, I just don't like someone's attitude or what they say. That's my position.
That was not my position.
Well, I'm speaking to
other
comments too.
Okay.
I think he's a tremendous supporter of local businesses. I think he's shown that, and he's a supporter of tourism, which is what drives our economy. He's been a big advocate, and I know he navigated us in hurricane recovery as well. I don't have the rich history that Mr. Casto has. I just don't have the years here on this beach, unfortunately. But I'm happy to support, and I'll second Mr. Casto's motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion before I call roll?
I think my concern here is I would like for us to have a policy going forward on how we decide how we're going to name our public buildings rather than just, one person announcing it with not any real discussion about it. That's all.
Okay. So we can maybe take that up at council comments. To discuss that. We have
to an agenda.
Yeah, we can add it. Yeah. Well, but we have a motion. We have a second.
Okay.
We're done with the comments. Ms. Mazzoni?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
No, ma'am. Okay. Moving on to regular agenda item number 4, resolution 2605. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, honoring the late Gail E. Wright and her contributions to the city by naming the water billing services building in her honor.
Okay. Mr. Casto. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. We need public comment. 1 second. Any public
Hold
comment?
that thought.
Sorry, sir. Any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Casto, this was the other item you brought up last council meeting?
Yeah. Few people in this building remember Gail. We lost her, I think, 3 years ago, and I never heard anybody say a bad word about Gail. She was a sweetheart, and she was the face of this city. I think she was city clerk at one time, administrative to the city manager, worked her way up through the water department. She first, the very beginning of the city in 1970. So anyhow, she was just a great person. You won't find anybody that knew her that wouldn't say that she wasn't that. And I can't think of anybody else I would rather name the new building after on 79. I think officially we're calling that the water billing building, is that right? Yeah. It's annex of this building, but anyhow, I just think it'd be nice to remember her in that way.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know her, but she was the face of the city for how long?
4 decades, yeah. 38 years, I think, a long time.
Yeah.
30 year, yeah. So faithful public servant.
If you went in the old gymnasium, City Hall, then you saw Gail. So-
Okay. All right.
I walked around City Hall and tried to find anybody to say anything negative, and there wasn't anything but positive, so I didn't have the pleasure to meet Gail, unfortunately, but I know the people that did, and our former police chief being one of them, and our assistant city manager, both spoke extremely highly of her in my one-on-one, so I'm happy to make a motion to approve naming the building after Gail Wright.
Second.
Well, Councilman Register, I do believe you, but it is what you said, but it is kind of, I would be kind of surprised if you were walking around the building trying to find things for people to say negative about anyone.
Well, yeah. I was just asking who she was. There were no stories about who she was, and they were all positive stories.
Yeah.
I wasn't hunting for negative.
Yeah, that was my experience. So that was my experience as well. A lot of wonderful memories, wonderful stories from her. I think it would be an honor. We got a motion. We have a second. Ms. Fazone.
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now on to regular agenda item number 5, Resolution 2606. Man, these Resolution 26s.
A
Mr.
resolution
Davis.
of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, designating October 14th, 2025 as a day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk.
Okay, any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, this is one I brought up, and the House and Senate has already done a National Day of Remembrance. It was championed by Congressman Jonas and Senator Scott. He's a passionate advocate for free speech, civic engagement, and open discussion of ideas. He promoted civil dialogue and civic education, particularly among young people, and he was assassinated in an act of political violence. So we should remember the good work he undertook in his life and take a stand against political violence. So, any discussion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Fazone?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Moving on to Resolution 2607, regular agenda item number 7. Mr. Davis.
A resolution of the City of Panama City Beach, Florida, adopting legislative and executive branch priorities for the 2026 Florida legislative session.
Okay. Is there any public comment on this item?
I just want to say I looked at
Could
the.
you please state your name?
Oh, sorry, Molly Allen, Lowwater Lake. So I just want to say I did read through this, and I want to say it's about time that we're getting and looking towards some sort of pedestrian path that goes from Frank Brown across the street so people can get across safely. While I'm up here, I would like to throw a little extra on that. And say if we do get a path, whether it's above or below ground, of course I would like for it to be above ground. I know, Paul, that you're vying for it to be underground, which I don't think is ultimately a really bad idea. I'm just a little bit concerned with the lake system and the underground waters that go through there, how that would truly look. And then, of course, also, would we have to pump it out when it flooded? I understand there are also some concerns with overhead passageways. They can be expensive. They can take up a lot of room. As I said, I just want to throw a little idea out there as well. I would like to advocate for extending possibly Gales Trails down towards the beach as to celebrate coastal dune lakes, and that our systems run from the north all the way down to the beach through tributaries. And maybe, that can get a little extra funding along the way if there's a nature element included in that. And I think that extending Gales Trails or something like that would be a wonderful way for people to know about our area and understand that all paths do really truly lead to our beautiful beaches. Might be a great way to introduce them to the sand. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Thank you.
Further public comment on Resolution 2607, further public comment? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Davis, can you help us understand what's going on here?
Sure. So every year, prior to the legislative session, we try to come up with legislative priorities that we get from you when we talk to staff, to make sure that the city staff, the city's lobbyists, all of us are working together on a set of goals for the legislative session. We've been doing this for, I want to say, 5 or 6 years now. And so this year, getting your individual feedback, getting feedback from staff, we've put together a list of 4 priorities. The first one is advocating for reforms to the local business tax statute that would allow some flexibility in how the city handles its the 1% that everyone refers to as the BTR, or the 1% is a local business tax. And so looking at ways that we can allow the voters of the city to change that tax. Right now, it is a static tax that cannot be changed. The second one is, again, trying to get some federal funding or some state funding for the McKelvey plant, so from water tanks at the McKelvey plant. You will recall we're expanding that plant to handle the East End, demand. So getting some funding for the McKelvey plant for additional water tanks. The next one is the either a tunnel or a bridge or some way to increase pedestrian access at the parks. That is something that was actually on the legislative priorities, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And we didn't get anywhere on that, but we're going to take another swing. And then the last one is Lakeview Circle. There's a bridge. If you don't know where Lakeview Circle is, it's that small road next to Dusty's that goes into a neighborhood.
The Duck Bridge.
What's that?
The Duck Bridge.
The Duck Bridge, as I've heard it's the Duck Bridge. So that bridge needs some work, and so I've already received the appropriation request. I think it's about a $2.2 million ask that we'll be seeking funding for. So with you, and what this does is allows us, since you have voted on it, you can all speak of it freely. You can talk to each other about it. We go to Tallahassee and visit our legislators in Tallahassee, and that way we're all singing the same tune.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Welcome.
Glad you got to talk during this meeting. I feel like
I've honestly really enjoyed not talking.
Okay, any discussion from the council?
I think this is a great list this year, and what a difference it'll make if we can pull it off.
Yes, indeed.
We've got the right partners in place to be able to do
Yep.
that. And
Yep.
Mr. Davis maintains a great relationship with them. I appreciate that.
We have a great team.
Yeah.
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 We do have a great team of Floridian partners. They do amazing work for the city.
Absolutely.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the legislative priorities. Ms. Fazzoni?
Councilmember Coburn?
Yes.
Councilman Register?
Yes, ma'am.
Vice Mayor Jarman?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Casto?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Teddemer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Moving on to the city manager report. Mr. Whit.
No report tonight.
No reports. Moving on to the city attorney report.
No report.
No report. Okay.
On fire.
I think from now on, I'm just going to make sure that the vice mayor gets first dibs.
Well, I got stuff. I'd like to put before the council and see if we want to start moving on some changes to ordinance involving food trucks. I'd like to see if everyone can be on board with looking to enable and change verbiage that would allow food truck parks. I think that's a great first step to see how everything will play out and how well it works. I think it'd be a great amenity for this city. I know a lot of people enjoy food trucks. Right now in the city of Panama City Beach, it's, they can be few and far between. This, if we move in this direction, it would allow someone to set up like what is that place in town called? Joe?
Papa
yeah.
Joe's.
Pompano- yeah. Papa Joe's.
Papa Joe's.
Out here on the beach where you can have multiple food trucks and people can go and experience that type of cuisine and enjoy it. So seeking council's, support and directing staff to move in a direction that could make this possible.
What exactly are you looking to do? Make it work?
So right now, the restrictions on food trucks are pretty tight.
Right.
And what I'm looking for is opening it up to where if someone owns a parcel of land, that they can develop it to have multiple food trucks on it as a set location that people can go and experience food truck food.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
On a specific parcel, not.
Not
Food trucks
up and down the streets on a specific parcel.
And would they be required to have running water and restroom facilities available?
Well, in my vision, that I'm trying to just get to the
That's
point
your
where,
vision?
Yeah,
where
so-
if you're all on board, we will hash through it. But yeah, I want to set it. My vision is to set it up to where there are restrictions, and it's not as the disparity between brick and mortar and, say, a food truck park is not so vast that they're playing on different fields. Does that make sense? I can envision where you're going to have bathrooms, and you're going to have running water, and you're going to have electricity. You're going to have so many parking spots. You're going to have,
So you'd be talking about an update to the LDC?
Yeah, it's,
Like a new permitted use?
What ordinance falls under food trucks? Is it?
I should get closer to the microphone when I speak.
Can you look that up?
So we don't have a food truck ordinance.
Oh.
What we do is
what restricts it?
So what we do is food trucks are considered temporary uses. And so they can only exist for 7 days in a month. So if a business then there's conditions within that temporary use, so it can't take up a required parking space. There are other conditions that where you can have food trucks, but it's in a very limited window, under very tight regulations. And so to your point, if you wanted to explore, and I can tell you that I kind of keep up on things like this. So other cities have adopted conditional uses or supplemental uses for food truck parks as a category of land use, where you would address seating, utilities, trash, noise, all those various kind of regulatory things that you would think about from a public standpoint. And so happy to kind of dig more into that if that's what you guys want to do. But it would be either creating, I think, to your point, if food truck courts or parks is what you're looking for, that would be either creating a conditional use or supplemental use in the land development code as a separate land use category. And we would have to think about where you want those to be allowed, whether that's just CH or whether you want that in greater categories. There's 15 different kind of decision points that we would need to kind of go through with y'all and see what you want to do.
So, Vice Mayor, are you basically proposing staff do a little bit of research and then
that's always
discussion item?
That's a great place to start, and then we can bring it back to us, and then we can hash out what everyone's vision on this would be. It's just something that, I think I brought it up a while back, and then I'm bringing it up again. So today I'm looking for just council support in getting staff to get us stuff to have our discussion on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth exploring. I would just say, maybe some light research and then a discussion item in whenever the research is done. I know we're starting to get into our
one a month.
Our 1 a month thing. So this is not particularly time sensitive. So just whenever staff can fit it in, maybe, I don't know, try to get it by the end of the year, next year? What are you thinking, Vice Mayor?
We could have a discussion on it, say, in December, and then we can kind of hash it out and then come back in January.
Okay, you think that reasonable time?
If everybody agrees on it, I could probably bring something back in December working with Eagle.
Okay, all right.
Is that something we
I'm
can
good
bring in our one-on-one ideas
Yeah.
in the meantime that we'd like, I mean, if we look at other municipalities.
Yeah, I'll
that
start
do it
discussing
well.
our one-on-ones.
Okay, all right, perfect. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to reinvent the wheel if there's.
Yeah, we'll take a look at what
municipalities that
other
doing it
places
really
are doing
well.
and kind of bring you a couple examples to look at.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, an agenda item and some research and, you know, some
Yeah.
food, shall we say, for public discussion?
Food for thought.
Yeah, food for thought, okay.
And then the only other thing I have.
Well, let's just make sure that we're all
Oh,
on
yeah.
board with,
I'm good with looking at it,
Yeah.
something similar to what they got across the
Okay.
bridge.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we don't take away from our brick and mortar businesses that are here. And I do know that a lot of neighborhoods are having food trucks in their neighborhoods at least once a week. I know we usually do, and I know Summerwood's doing that as well.
No one is as sensitive to brick and mortar restaurants as I am.
Okay.
okay. So, we're good with some legal research and then some other research for what other municipalities are doing for a discussion item on the agenda.
We got it.
meeting. Okay, and we're good. All right.
All right. And then the only other thing to Councilmember Coburn is, do we want to kind of set rules for the council for naming protocols and get staff to look at what other people do and bring that back to us in January?
I think we should.
I'm down for it.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable, what, you know, I know the state has different, get back close to the microphone.
There you go.
I'm sure different cities have
Yeah,
different ways of
different
going
cities,
about it.
okay. Yeah, just provide some guidance, and then if future councils want to change it, or if we want to adopt it, we can, future councils, okay. So that is research on what other municipalities do, and then bring that to a discussion item? Okay,
Sounds good.
or did you want to go straight to a resolution on that?
We can probably go right straight to resolution on
Yeah,
that.
straight to resolution on that one? Okay. So, do we have you have a timeframe, council member? I don't know who to look
I
at, because
said
it's like.
Well,
you're-
I'm fine with January.
I think
Let's- yeah.
January, either February, I think, I don't think it's a pressing need at
Yeah.
this point, but I do think that we need to have something in place.
Got it.
Yeah. When's that new fire station opening?
We don't want to legal.
Okay. Sometime before the last meeting in February.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, so bring it straight to resolution based on research for other options and discussion. All right, Vice Mayor, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay,
I promise.
okay,
Nothing from me, Mayor.
okay.
Michael took all our time.
How much we got accomplished.
That is true.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's
Well, he
good.
got me thinking about food, so.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I know, with that hour.
The goal of moving the meeting to 5 o'clock was to get Holly out before dark, and
It's close.
It's, you know,
I'll just wait till the time changes.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's coming up soon.
yep. Council member?
Nothing for me tonight.
So there is something I, maybe just have a discussion about. One of the things, we are in the middle of hurricane season right now, and I've been a little concerned, especially seeing some traffic on Hathaway for what emergency access looks like, should there be an evacuation. So just either a discussion item or direct staff to look at what the current emergency access plans are, and if there's any need for additional emergency access measures to be taken in the case of an emergency to, especially, it's been a couple months ago now, but there's an accident on the front of the Hathaway, and it backed up traffic probably to Clara almost. And I just can't imagine, I was just imagining that happening during a hurricane event. And so ultimately, I just want to think about how we get out of the island. So just a discussion or staff report for what the current understanding of emergency access is, if there's any need for additional emergency access, and just bring that back. I mean, it's not time sensitive, but bring it back sometime early next year.
Yeah, do we have a SOP for, say, our police officers and how they direct? I mean, the real we're limited in our escape routes, right? We have 3.
I mean, that's. in
And
part
so,
my
I mean,
concern.
we have SOPs how the police would direct that traffic heading off of the beach.
We work with FHP. They control the 3 bridges when any kind of evacuation goes on. I can refer back to Hurricane Opal. We made it one way getting everybody out of town, but with a hurricane coming, it was easy to get everybody out of here within a week's time. But we work with FHP because they control the bridges by state law.
Okay.
And generally with hurricanes, is you got several days.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I'm happy to look at those protocols if that's.
And
Yeah.
the expansion of 79 helps.
Yeah, so it just, maybe just either agenda item or a discussion item about what the current protocols are, whether there's any deficiencies in terms of emergency access.
Is that in coordination with the county and?
Yeah, we work with the county's EOC as well.
How long would you need to give us some information on that?
It depends who I can get a hold of at the state level and with the sheriff's office, with our chief of police, but 2-3 weeks to make sure I give you everything you need.
I was thinking early,
Just-
I was thinking next year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we are in hurricane season, so.
yeah.
Quit
I was
saying,
like-
quit using the H
Well,
word.
Yeah.
okay.
You're gonna jinx us.
But I mean, Mr. Whitman, what we have in place now, I mean, you've evacuated this island many, many times, right? And your time's here. So what we have in place is currently working and has continued to work. And I mean, what would we be able to do as a city to be able to change anything, actually?
Hurricanes are easy because, like you mentioned, you got at least a week's notice, and we usually try to get people out of town if we know it's going to be a bad storm. Something major happens all at once, it'd be hard to get everybody here at one time, but we're restricted on the 3 bridges. That's something we'd have to work with the state level because they control all the land around us with the Bay County Sheriff's, or with the Bay County.
I guess
So
I'm
it'd be
just
a
trying to
3-step.
understand what we would add to the table as a decision-making entity on how to evacuate this island. Like, what decisions can we make as far as looking at a plan? I mean, is there anything that we can do that's, that's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to understand is looking at a long-term vision for this island, maybe getting an additional escape route, right? And so before going to that, let's evaluate what we have now.
Needs and capacity.
And the needs and capacity before, assuming a solution.
I guess that's the piece of the puzzle I was missing.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
looking for that, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to look into it.
Okay. Yep. So early next year? Good?
Sounds good.
Yep. Okay. So evaluate, in terms of emergency, what kind of plan exists, where the choke points are, to the extent we should be advertising it, obviously. Okay. And Molly talked about, Ms. Allen talked about the Gales Trails expansion. Where are we at in terms of future Gales Trails? I think
We're basically built out except the part that's going to run east with the new expansion of Philip Griffith Senior Parkway. We can look at other trails. We already have 2 sections of Gales Trails that Aaron Besson that Molly was talking to. We could look at maybe running something south on the sidewalks on that, but that's something I can get with Kathy Yance on that. She runs all my trails programs.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say if there's a way to tie in what we have at Aaron Besson to the CRA sidewalks, then that'd be probably the best route.
Yeah, I mean, so and we don't have to have a discussion on it, just understand where we're at with Gales Trails. I'd love to kind of get an update on that. I know it's a popular program. All right, other than that, I even highlighted when the next meeting was. So, all right, thank
Tell
you.
me.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, for this, robust, 3-4 hours, geez, series of meetings. A lot of stuff accomplished. Our next meeting is Thursday, October 23rd at 9 a.m. at City Hall. I will see you there.
All right.